everyone, Sheree here. Today I'm going to be creating a spread for my Felicity Jane binder. I'm using the black and white striped binder, and if you've seen some of my previous videos, you'll know that I'm doing some personal memory keeping just for myself in my binder this year. I have already created a few spreads. You may remember this one that was on the blog earlier this year. So I've done a couple since then, and I'm now adding to that. So today I'm using the Jaimee Kit. I'm using just one of the papers from the kit today. I absolutely love this green and white stripe. On the reverse is this cute black and white pattern. So I'm going to use both sides of that, and I do already have strips cut to size ready to go. I'm also going to use the Jaimee puffy stickers. How gorgeous are these? I absolutely love them. I've also got a selection of stamps ready to go. Oh, I've got the designer tabs there as well. The stamps, I'm using the Jaimee stamp set. This stamp set is just so versatile, and I can't wait to play with more of these later on. But today I'm going to use this checkbox stamp here and this cute scallop stamp as well. So they're definitely going onto this spread. I've also got some phrases to use from previous stamp sets. So I've got the Essentials No. 2 stamp set. I'm going to use the phrase, "My favourite thing." This one's the Henley stamp set, and down the bottom it's got the phrase "more of this," so I'm going to use that. The Zoe stamp set has the word "play" just here, so I'm going to use that, I think, on my designer tab. And this last one is quite old. It was called Next Stop. I think it's from 2016, but I just want this arrow to go on my page, so I'm going to use that as well. Now for the title, I've got the Create die cut that was in the Jaimee Kit this month, but to go along with that I want to make a longer title using alphabet stickers. So I've got the Jaimee puffy alphabet there to use, so that's going to be the second word. For the last word of my title, I wanted to do a mix of alphabet stickers and colours. So I've just gone into my stash and I found these ones to use. So I've got the Reagan chipboard alphabet, the Henley gold foil puffy alphabet, the Brooke puffy alphabet, which is a lovely pink, the Zoe puffy alphabet, and then I've got this really old one called the Caroline chipboard alphabet, but I absolutely love the colour. It's ever so slightly not the same green as the paper, but I think I can get away with it. So what I want to do is just mix those letters together to make the last word of my title. So I do have some of the die cuts here to use as well. I'll probably use this green label over here somewhere. And I think that's about it. Just before I start, you can see I do have stitching here that's come through from the previous page. So my design today will be to cover that. So you can see I've got this wider strip here that'll be going down that side to cover that stitching. But so that I can still have stitching on this spread, what I'm going to do is layer my pieces together first. Then I'm going to stitch down it before I adhere it onto the page. So that will allow me to get that lovely texture of stitching on there without stitching through the pages, which is a really handy tip to know. If you're scrapping in a binder or in a traveler's notebook, you can always add stitching that way. Okay, I think that's about it. I'll pop you on fast forward and show you what I've got planned. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I've stitched down those strips and stuck them down each side of the page. So now I can go ahead and add my photo to the first page. I'm just using a little bit of double-sided tape on the back there and roughly centering that. Then I can start adding a couple of embellishments. So I've got some messy thread that I've just placed in that bottom left corner, and that puffy sticker will just go straight over the top and help to keep that messy thread in place. Next, I've got one of those designer tabs. I'm just cutting it in half so that I can use the other half on another project. A little bit of double-sided tape again, and I'm putting that in the top right corner. Now I'm going to grab my stamps and do a little bit of stamping. So first up, I've got the word "play" that I want to add to the designer tab. So I'm using StazOn ink because I find that is the best ink to use on these die cuts and the designer tabs. So I'm inking that up, going straight onto the tab, and I'm really happy with how that's stamped up. So next I've got the stamp that says my favourite thing, and I'm going to put that just under the photo there. And another stamp now, and I'm using that arrow. I'm using a grid on this stamp block to get it nice and straight on the block. When I inked it up this first time, I noticed it had moved a little bit, so I'm just making another little adjustment there. A little bit more ink, and that's ready to go on. And I'm pointing that arrow so that it's going towards the other page. So I'm going to do a little bit of stamping on the second page as well, and this is where I want to add those check boxes from the Jaimee stamp set. So I'm going to just place everything onto the page so that I get the spacing right and I know where to stamp them. So I've got the create word, a label, that scallop stamp. I've got the yourself word, which I've used with the Jaimee puffy stickers for, and you can see there the happy word that I've made up of all the different letter stickers. I'm quite happy with how that's looking. This bit here, I've done a little test run on how I wanted to have this on the page. So I typed it up with my typewriter. I've got those little check boxes stamped, and this is just helping me know where to put my check boxes. The checkbox stamp does have more than 4 boxes, and I only want 4, so I'm covering the rest up with a sticky note, and I'm just inking up those top 4, take the sticky note off, and you can see there only 4 of the boxes are now inked, and I can go straight onto the page. So I've got my 4 boxes now stamped there in the right spot, and I've used my typewriter to add the text onto there. And they say, gather pretty supplies, scrap all day, feel awesome, and repeat. So now that that's done, I can add these letter stickers onto the page, and I like to start roughly in the middle of the word and work my way outwards. And the fact that the background paper that I'm using is grid paper, it really helps to get these letters nice and straight. The grid paper you can find in the Felicity Jane store, in the binder section where you find all the binder supplies, and they do fit most 6-ring binders. So just placing all those letter stickers on there now. So that's done, and now I can add that die cut word. So I'm just adding some strips of double-sided tape on the back there. I'm using really thin double-sided tape for this. And now that one can go onto the page. So I'm just going to lift up the very top of the O there in yourself. I'm just tucking it underneath that. And there we go, a little bit of a close-up there. That's looking good. So to finish off now, I want to add that label underneath the text and that scallop stamp right at the bottom. So I'm just grabbing those out and putting them onto some clear acrylic blocks. I'm going to use the words more of this, which is in the Henley stamp set, and I'm going to put that straight onto the label. So again, I'm using my Stays On ink, and that stamps up really nicely. So I'm happy with that, and that can now go onto the page with a little bit of double-sided tape. So that's on there now. Now for the scallop stamp, it's quite a solid one, and I could go directly onto the page, but just to be safe, I'm going to stamp it onto some scrap white cardstock, and then I'm just going to cut it out to put onto the page, and that will sort of look like another die cut instead of stamping onto the page. So I'm just grabbing my scissors and carefully fussy cut around that. Little bit of double-sided tape, and that's going on there now. So to finish off, I'm just going to add the date under the arrow there, and I'm using the Felicity Jane roller date stamp for that, and then I just need to add a little tick to each of those check boxes, and this spread is done. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing how this has come together. Let me know if you've got any questions. Just pop it down below. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. I'll leave a link below to Felicity Jane as well, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks for joining me. Bye for now.